Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pimps and simps, welcome back to the Mac Life, the #1 podcast here in the world. We're back for episode 132. Now, if you're new to the channel, we go over absolutely everything to do with growing your brand online, monetizing that brand, Onlyfans marketing for creators, and Onlyfans management. So how to manage ladies' accounts and make serious amounts of money with Onlyfans. I feel that's that better? What do you reckon? Now, today's video, okay, I missed the video yesterday and you're probably wondering why. If you watch the most recent podcast that I put out, I mentioned that I was going to the doctors just for a checkup, and I want to start off. Actually, I haven't told you, if you're new to the channel, okay, the way I do these videos is essentially I do them in a podcast style format. So I do them basically where we build a little bit of a connection. I go over some updates going on in my life. Me and you get to bond, and then I get into the OnlyFans stuff at the end. And there's some good stuff to get into for OnlyFans. And in today, we'll basically be covering, is OnlyFans management legit? We're going to break down the entire business model and whether I think it's worth getting into OnlyFans management at this stage. Now, you can tell I'm that little bit off today. And it comes from, I went to the doctors. Good thing that I went to the doctors the other day. If you remember and you've watched back the podcast, I was in Indonesia not that long ago. And I got sick training at MMA, and I was at Bali MMA. I wrestled around on the jiu-jitsu mats. The next day I woke up, I had a rash on my arm. That rash went away, but there was still a little bit under my armpit. And then yesterday, coincidentally enough, as I went to the doctors, it had just got massive, like under my arm. I'll put up a picture. And I hadn't even noticed it had started down my leg as well. So I went to the doctors yesterday just for a general health checkup, and I told her about this like under armpit rash. Not yesterday, day before yesterday, I don't know, whatever it was. Day before yesterday, because I didn't put out a video yesterday. And yeah, I went there, and essentially she told me, like I said, if you watch back the podcast, you'll understand. And you can tell I'm a little bit drowsy today. I'm not on my finest form. I had a severe staph infection from the jiu-jitsu mats. So I'm currently on like the heaviest antibiotic course. I've got to take that for 10 days to essentially hopefully clear up all this staph infection in my body, get rid of all this rash, and try not to genuinely, we need to come up with a proper word for that. Try not to die, essentially. She basically said, good thing that I come in for a checkup, because if you don't cure staph infection, it can very quick turn into sepsis, which is like an infection of the entire body. And then you go into septic shock, and then that's it. Game over, organ failure. So that could have been the very last Mac Life podcast that was put out. But as I said, we need not worry, because the doctor just confirmed my every thought, which is that I'm immortal. Now, we have some good updates to get through today before we get into the OnlyFans content. What else did I want to say? Yeah. To tie on to that thing about going to the doctors, my mouth, these antibiotics have dried my mouth out, and they made me real like dizzy and sluggish. So if today's podcast isn't into its finest form, okay, I apologize. But at the same time, I want to continue to put these out because it's probably the #1 thing that I enjoy doing at the moment in my life is just creating content. Like, I have multiple businesses. I enjoy running my businesses. Everyone knows me as the business guy. I do a lot of other shit as well. But, you know, I can't really see myself not producing content as a daily thing ever again. You know, for the entirety of my life till now, to 80-year-old, 90-year-old Mac, I'm going to be pushing out content in some way. I just feel it's like the closest almost connection I have with, like, the universe almost is creating content. And whether it's just me talking, whether it's like even little stories, whatever it is, just creating content and pushing it out there. It's what I enjoy to do the most. And we're in a blessed age where if you understand monetization correctly and leverage, okay, it's probably the most profitable thing to be in the world as well, content creation. That being said, you know, I'm sticking to the game plan. I'm not on Instagram. I won't be on Instagram now, you know, until 6 o'clock each day, and I'll only be there for 20 minutes. My team's organized who to look through. I'll basically go through those people, and that's it. The rest of the time I won't be on Instagram. And if you've seen my Instagram profile, I know I've got hundreds of messages sitting there, legitimately hundreds of people going, bro, what's up with your Instagram? Why is it all weird? Because it's full of the music posts. If you don't understand what I'm doing at the moment, I'm essentially using the musician route to get verified and become verified on IG. So I paid a PR firm a lot of money, well, a friend essentially, and with some hookups. And we're at the final stages of that. So I have 2 more days of posting. And then, I know I've said this multiple times, but then that should be it, according to them. So we'll find out on Friday. No, wait, Friday my time. Friday their time will be Saturday for me. So tomorrow, I essentially have my post tomorrow, and then we'll find out. And I'll keep you all updated again. Once it happens, I'm sure a lot of people will be messaging like, hey, bro, I'm keen to do it. So let's just wait till that happens. That being said as well, I feel like this year I've gotten sick quite a few times, and I usually never get sick, and I can pin it down to exactly what it is. Traveling, it's the only thing that I changed in my lifestyle from. I had a very consistent sleep cycle. My circadian rhythm was on point. I had a very consistent diet. I ate the same thing every day. I went for a walk every day. I had exercise, gym, routine. And then I switched all that up by essentially packing my whole life into 2 bags and just traveling with no intention of returning. I went for 5 or 6 months, just country hopping, different diets, trying weird food each day, very irregular sleep cycles, sometimes no sleep, different levels of stress, all these things. And, that has taken a toll on the body massively. So it's just confirmed my thoughts now of what I've kind of known or what I learnt while traveling, which is that you kind of always want a home base. And this is why so many humans, 99% of the population, they have their home and they live in it. And then people live what they say is mediocre lives where they don't travel out. They just travel out for thingies. But really, it's not that that's a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with having that home base. And what I've learned is that you can still travel, you can still explore, you can still be spontaneous. Money helps with that. But I feel for me anyway, a home base is the G, and then from there I can just head out and get moving. This ain't even my ad, so right now you're watching an ad, and I ain't even getting AdSense. Let's skip it. Let's skip this motherfucking ad. Now, new Invisalign today as well. I was meant to head down to the mountains today. I was meant to have like a 5-hour drive to get there and get my dentist. I was meant to see the dentist, get all my teeth cleaned, and then orthodontist tomorrow. I had to reschedule those. I'm not driving while dizzy, just fucking actual death. So, yeah, that being said as well, we don't have too many updates today until we get into the OnlyFans stuff. I noticed my posts recently have been stirring up some controversy with the reaction videos that I've been doing, so great. And the weird thing is, I click on these, it's like YouTube has its own filtering system now that it won't tell you, because people comment negative stuff or anything that appears negative, and YouTube's like insanely smart at recognizing what's negative. And when I click on my videos and I click comments and then I click like unanswered, they're not showing up, the negative comments in there. And so I click held for review, they're not showing up in there. But if I go to the actual video, they're not showing up. But then if I filter by newest, I see these comments that I've never seen before. And so the controversial stuff is definitely working well. I'm getting people comment, people post, people disagreeing, which is fine because it's just feeding my algorithm dubs. And the amount of dumb people that I see on these comments, they obviously don't watch enough of the podcast. I talk about this in everything, that vanity metrics mean nothing. People going, oh, your videos don't even get this many views. Look at my channel intro video, 65,000 views, and I think I spent like $10, $15 on ads to acquire that. You know what I mean? Like, vanity metrics mean nothing. But I can tell you, my YouTube channel makes me serious amounts of money, and all my YouTube channels make me serious amounts of money. So, vanity metrics are not something you should look for in terms of credibility, and I mention this in every video. But the controversy is working well. The Hive's exploding. Our growth rate in the Hive's been absolutely nuts. Another cool comment in there this morning. One of his girls this morning, he woke up and a dude was trying to get her attention, and he's like, 4 $200 tips. Good morning, baby. Like $800. The money that's in the Hive, like, I don't even need to justify or sell it to you anymore. If you don't know what the Hive is, it's essentially my community and a Discord server, and alongside that, all the e-commerce training, all the OnlyFans training, where you're taught how to manage girls' OnlyFans account, you're taught how to market from a marketing standpoint, and then you're plugged into a community of other creators, other managers. And this really leads on to the next point, which is something great that's happened because of Andrew Tate. A lot of people, whether you like Andrew Tate or not, what he has done is essentially validated the online learning space. He's got enough exposure, is probably the most exposure for any online course, that he has kind of validated the whole space, because people have this weird scammy stigma image around online learning and online platforms, where learning for me has always been something I've prioritized as my number one thing. And, he's kind of made it very clear to people that, like, you could spend this much money each month and learn how to make this much more, or learn any new skills for that amount of money. It's extremely valid. And people throw this word scam around. It's so stupid. And, like, I could look at the university system. I went to uni. I was at uni for 5 years. It was meant to be a 4-year degree. I had to split up some shit there with the end. But I was there 5 years, and it cost me $80,000 at my uni. 80 something, maybe 87, I believe, $1,000. And it's attributed to me making $0. It didn't guarantee me a job. It was the most stressful period of my life. That's just straight up uni cost as well. I had to buy books, all my reading materials, food like on campus while there, transport and travel costs, attend uni games to be part of that community. The amount of money that going out drinking with uni friends, the amount of money that was spent in that little community was enormous. And the return financially, whilst I gained some incredible connections, friends, all these things, the return financially was $0. And yet people are still like skeptical about online learning, which I just do not understand. But I feel Andrew Tate, the best thing that's happened is he's changed the whole stigma around that. People are starting to now validate online businesses, and they're looking at it like, hey, if I spend this much a month and I make even $1 more profit, how can you not be happy with that? If you spend $100 and then in your first month you earn $101, that's only your first month. If you look and you're like, well, I made $1. To you, $1 might not be much, but it's still a positive ROI, and you've acquired new information. So that's what it is. I can tell I'm slower today. These things, though, I've got to take 3 a day. I should have brought water because they dry my mouth out. Like, have you ever seen You, Me, and Irene? You may have seen that movie. It's with they've cognitively slowed me down. I might need to mix some nootropics in there to get my brain pumping. It's a movie with Jim Carrey, and he's got like a split alter ego personality. But there's this scene where he has these pills to stay awake or something because he's got to drive, and it just cotton mouth dries out his entire throat. Look at this dude. He's like, I've got these oldies. They can hit. He's still looking. Where I'm posted, right? You can directly see through this window because I've got all the lighting set up. I'm just sitting here talking, and I'm in a very small town, so it's like all these country folk walking, and the oldies walk by, and they're like, what is that guy doing? Like, this is a fishing town. Like, the people around here, they collect oysters. They run, like, oyster farms. This is a very bumpkin town. So, I think that's pretty much it. The last thing, the very last topic before we get into the OnlyFans stuff is that also what Andrew Tate has kind of validated is that jobs are bullshit, And I was listening to a lot of stuff on Joe Rogan recently, and the amount of people that just work mind-numbing jobs, and this has really hit home for me coming back to see my family, and I'm around all my family at the moment, and I'm making such a significant amount of wealth at this point in my life, and I know it's only the beginning of where I will be. And I look at my family and I chat to them, and they're talking about like, just normal people stuff, all the stresses of 9-to-5 jobs and the communities, and like, it's insane to me to think that people still live this way. And once I acquire a little bit more wealth, none of my family will work again. It's a priority for me at this point in my life that I make sure all that is possible. And it's actually quite a lot harder than you think to do that. In Australia, you can't just gift people money. You're allowed a $30,000 donation once every 5 years in Australia, untaxed, to a family member, and you're allowed to do that for one family member. So it's actually quite difficult in terms of giving people money without it being taxed significantly in Australia. So without being double taxed, if I'm to cash it out from my company to my personal self and then give it across, then they're paying an income tax on it as well as a business tax if it's a transaction. So it's Very, very hard to do. But I will soon, I said soon, but I feel maybe a year or two. It will still take me another year or two. But at that point, my family won't have to work again. And if you think, oh, yeah, but you make money, why can't you do that now? You don't understand how big my family is. Like, my immediate family is massive. Obviously, my dad's side is super wealthy, but my mum's side, I have a lot of aunties, a lot of that still work. And I listen to them, and, you know, they all have the traits that you learn in self-development classes that you need to lose in order to get wealth. Like, my family, they love a gossip. And it's something that I avoid at all costs. You know, with the controversial stuff, which I'm doing now, it's just to get attention, but they love a good gossip. They come home from working a full work day and they'll talk about work life. And it's like, they don't enjoy it, but then they're allocating more time to that just to talk about it. And, you know, my aunties and stuff, rather than them having a game plan for getting wealthy, it's just like, once I win the lottery, once this happens, once good luck fortunes me, once something favors me, then everything will be good. And it's like, that doesn't happen. It just doesn't. You know, it can. But you have to understand, everyone thinks like that. It's a minute chance. And belief will maybe increase your chances of that happening a little bit somehow. But you need a practical roadmap. You need to stop saying, when I'm fortuned by good luck, and instead saying, I will do this, I will create this opportunity, and then I can do this. But yeah, it's a big thing that I've noticed recently, and it's something I'll help my family out with very, very soon. So, that being said, we have a lot of OnlyFans stuff to get into, and we're talking today about, is the OnlyFans business model legit? Now, for us to say, is it legit, okay, we're going to first break down the advantages and the disadvantages, because to me, if something's not legit, okay, it's really just 90% disadvantage and 10% advantage. You're copying a significant loss for your investment compared to a significant gain. Now, that being said, you know, I'm just going to come straight out, and I think it is probably one of the most legit businesses in the world to participate in, because let's look at it. Positive wise, let's look at the OnlyFans model as a business. When I look at it, I broke it down into 3 key points, and there's some additionals, but 3 key points of it from a company standpoint. And that is it scalable? Is it a business that if you put, you know, you gain expertise in, you put more time into, you go through the stresses and the hardships of business, is it a business that's scalable? Can it be scaled? And yeah, like, scale-wise, it's probably one of the easiest businesses in the world to scale, because it's an internet-based business. It's not a physical location. You're already at a massive advantage. Individual girl accounts can be scaled to the moon, essentially. If you were to find a way to market a girl to every person on the world, it's infinitely scalable. Exactly the same with acquiring new models and doing that. And the thing is, as you grow as a company and you acquire this massive following, which is what you should be doing, getting external data from all your girls, when you bring on a new girl, you can remarket to the existing customer base that you already have and push all that traffic towards another girl. And now you're earning double income. So from a management standpoint, it is, you know, infinitely scalable. Is it sellable? Harder to sell than a traditional business, but yes, it's sellable. I mean, as long as the person coming on board has a fostered relationship with the ladies, and you can introduce that. You know, it's a business model that's very easy to take over. It's very exitable. It has a reoccurring revenue that you can show each month, as well as, you know, a pretty predictable revenue when you look at your analytics in terms of growth, because it's all on a computer. It's very easy in terms of sellability. You know, you don't have to manage inventory. There's not like complicated systems that need to be learnt. It's quite a simple process to sell a business like that. So it's scalable, it's sellable. And what are the profit margins like? OnlyFans is the most lucrative business in the world. Don't mix that up with the easiest business in the world, but it is the most lucrative business in the world. You're selling air. You're selling something that doesn't really exist. It's, you know, a titty pic isn't a real fucking thing. If it's taken on a Polaroid and it's printed into a tangible thing that you can hold and be sent out and collected, then it's real. It's not a real thing. It's just on the internet. It's just in the ether. It's just in space. You know, it's electricity. It's around us. It's not a tangible thing. Sure, we can see it with our eyes. Sure, we can grab our computer screen, but it's not real. It's not tangible. Okay, and so you can sell something that you can infinitely replicate. Okay, you can charge any price you want for. You have no cost of goods to manufacture other than a little bit of time. You can ship it and deliver it instantly. In terms of like business models, you will never see an opportunity like this again in the world. And this is why a lot of very unintelligent people, and there's a lot of dumb OnlyFans girls, and so many girls watch my shit that agree with me, and there's so many that have great mindsets, but there's so many dumb girls that watch my channel and make a serious amount of money from OnlyFans, and they sit here and they post angry shit, or they message me angry shit, and it's like, you don't understand the age of opportunity that you're in. You know, you think you're intelligent in terms of business sense, but money just amplifies you as a character, and a lot of girls don't understand how blessed they are. Like some of the girls that I've spoken with, they're in the top 0.01% of wealthiest people in the world, turning over $1 million a year. Think about that. Think about how many billions. People say, oh, I'm in the top 1%, yeah, but that's only 1%. You don't understand there are billions of people in this world, and you're in the top 1%, and yet they still complain about their car breaking down. They still complain if their hot water isn't working that day. They still sit there and waste their time looking through videos online that make them feel negativity, and then sit there commenting. It's like, money just amplifies dumb characteristics as well as it amplifies intelligence. And you know, for me, when I started my business career, I took a very humble approach and said, I know nothing. I'm incredibly stupid. I have no skills. I'm pretty IQ capped. What can I do to at least position myself a little bit better so that I can not only make money, but utilize money correctly and be a good person with money? And so I sat there for an entire year reading books. And you know, it's something that I'll be doing a heap of this week, is just reading books while I'm recovering from this near-death rash. So on top of that, I want to point out two more massive advantages to OnlyFans before we talk about the disadvantages. The barrier to entry is zero. It's free to start. You can use paid methods, and you can speed up the process using paid methods, but it's free. You can start with nothing. No other businesses in the world have the opportunity to earn this much money. You don't understand how lucky you are. They have the opportunity to earn this much money extremely fast and have zero barrier to entry. You can set up an account same day, have it verified within 24 hours, start marketing on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, pumping it through Tinder, and you can see instant results. You can make profit from day one. You know, most brick and mortar stores, like 90% of them go under within their first 3 years in Australia. 90% go down, and most of them don't turn over a profit until the end of the first year. They operate at a loss. And you think like your business costs nothing to start, and you're instantly making exuberant amounts of profit from day one. It is the best opportunity in the world to get into at the moment. That being said, what are the disadvantages? I feel the disadvantages are, you know, you'll have to be able to deal with the stigma, and that can be growth as well. The stigma of people saying, oh, you're in the OnlyFans industry. Some people will treat you a certain way, and that's just something you have to accept if you want all of these other mass amounts of benefits. And on top of that, if you're a manager, you're dealing with people with you're dealing with people's egos. You're dealing with ladies competing against other ladies, you know, or dudes competing against other dudes. You're competing with people who mostly associate their self-worth to the monetary gain or the amount of money that they acquire. And people like that have very fragile egos. You're dealing with high levels of emotionality, and you're dealing with content, okay, that is explicit, and there's just more you have to understand from a legality standpoint. So you need to be a little bit more secure compared to, you know, launching a footwear business. But that being said, you know, the disadvantages are very minimal in terms of you got to put up with some crazy bitches, you know, make sure you've got your legalities on point, and understand that people are going to just leave, and that's fine. You just need to have a better system in place for onboarding new people. Other than that, you know, you've got a business that costs nothing to start. It's scalable. It's sellable. It makes you extreme amounts of money. It can do it very fast and do it from the first day. You should be starting. And if you're looking to start, the link is down below in the bio where you can go ahead and join the Hive Mind community. The Hive Mind community is the MacLife's amazing, incredible, exhilarating community and program that teaches you OnlyFans marketing as well as OnlyFans management alongside YouTube, e-commerce, and Instagram growth strategies. On top of that, you'll be connected with a community of now, I think, as of today, 500 plus other creators and managers turning over between 6 and 7 figures a year. None of this is legal nor financial advice, but you should definitely join because the MacLife is going to be putting up the price of this program fucking massively for the sole intention of making more money for the people who fucked around and didn't join sooner. If you enjoyed today's big and drugged up podcast, I recommend also smashing the subscribe button, and I will see you all in tomorrow's video or the news reaction video, which I'm about to drop. We're looking through that today as well. See you all tomorrow. Bucka. If the staph infection kills me, just take all my money, okay? Convert it to gold, whores, whatever, and just bury me with it, okay? I don't want it to go to charity. I don't want it gifted. Just liquidate it all into real shit and just bury me with it.